How many of you are barely surviving on Social Security? How many of you still have to work and can't retire? A 67-year-old woman just received her Social Security. She was given $1,500 a month and would have made just barely enough to live. After looking at her check, she saw $185 taken out for Medicare. And so now she only gets $1,315. She says she's now looking for a job. There are states still giving health care to illegals for free. Over 365,000 illegal aliens are receiving over $500 monthly in Social Security benefits. What's being taken out of my check? Healthcare costs for my family, union dues, pension, taxes, Social Security, etc.
This would make Minnesota a magnet for more illegal immigrants. If I went to Russia, would I be expecting to get the sorts of benefits that Minnesota taxpayers are giving to people who are here illegally? Illegal immigrants in Minnesota in 2025 will be given $7,000 worth of benefits. $7,000 per person in the form of Minnesota Care benefits here in Minnesota, paid for by Minnesota taxpayers. Over 17,000 people who have already enrolled for this program here in Minnesota. In fiscal year 2025 alone, that is going to equate to at least $107 million in this fiscal year right now. This would make Minnesota a magnet for more illegal immigrants.
Now, in this land of the free and home of the brave, we have university students being swept up, shoved into unmarked vans, and fathers being tossed into Salvadorian gulags without a hint of due process. So I want to be real clear about this. If you say you love freedom, but you don't believe freedom is for everybody, then the thing you love isn't freedom, it's privilege.
Well, I guess I love me some privilege, because this is absolutely retarded. Governor Tim Walz, Minnesota, the same state, trying to give illegals $7,000 in benefits and nothing to us or you if you happen to live in Minnesota. Thank God this guy didn't make it into the White House. And I don't like how the left tries to redefine the wrongdoing. And for instance, in this particular situation, reclassifying illegals as university students, reclassifying illegal MS-13 gang members as fathers. Okay, great. We could play this adjective game till the cows come home. But why are we ignoring the truth? The truth being that they shouldn't have been here in the first place. They shouldn't have been here to begin with. And in fact, a lot of them were already supposed to be deported.
Omar Abrego Garcia's wife has been very vocal about how she doesn't think he's getting due process, and she now also fears for her safety. Do you have a message to her specifically?
Well, I don't have a message to his wife. I mean, look, I just disagree with the idea that he hasn't been offered due process. He had a couple of immigration hearings. He had a valid deportation order. I think this idea that somehow that we couldn't deport an MS-13 gang member, and he was an MS-13 gang member, is preposterous. And I think there's actually a deeper issue going on, which is that you see some radical judges at the district court level who are trying to layer so much quote-unquote process on top of the immigration system that it makes it impossible to function. We have over 20 million illegal aliens in the United States of America. Are we not allowed to deport them? Because if we're not allowed to deport them, then what these district courts are saying is fundamentally they reject the will of the American people as it was expressed in November of 2024. We just reject that. I believe the American people elected President Trump to do many jobs, but perhaps the most important job was to bring down the number of illegal immigration in this country. That's what he's trying to do. We're going to keep on doing it.
And I think that this one is actually extremely hilarious, the way that it's framed and phrased and presented. Kevin Dalton says, undocumented father taken by federal agents outside of his Pomona business. According to his son, Martin Majin, came to the U.S. undocumented in 1987. Seeking a better life for his family, he opened his barbershop 2 decades ago with his wife, Rosalba, and they raised their 7 children in Pomona. He was deported in 2009 after his green card was denied, but he returned 3 years later and has lived a quiet life ever since.
Surveillance video shows 58-year-old Martin Magin Leon pulling up to his business. It's the last known sighting before he disappeared Tuesday morning. His son, Miguel Magin, works next door and grew worried when the shop, usually open by 9 a.m. sharp, remained closed. When his father didn't answer his cell phone, Miguel's concern turned to panic.
I start knocking on the door. I hear nothing. I call my mom. Like, you know what? I'm going to knock the door down if you don't come. Open the door because my dad's not responding. I think he's probably on the ground.
But before he forced his way in, Magin checked his surveillance footage, and what he saw changed everything.
That's how we find out that he was taken at gunpoint.
His father wasn't missing. He'd been detained by federal immigration agents. The family frantically called ICE, Border Patrol, and local police trying to find out where he'd been taken. They got no answers until a call from the Mexican consulate finally came.
We didn't know if he's okay. We just found out about an hour ago that he's in Calexico.
Magin says his dad came to the U.S. undocumented in 1987, seeking a better life for his family. He opened the barbershop 2 decades ago with his wife Rosalba and raised their 7 children in Pomona. He was deported in 2009 after his green card was denied, but returned 3 years later and has lived a quiet life ever since.
We knew this was going to happen to criminals, to rapists, to people that really have a bad record. You know, Donald Trump wanted to deport those people, but why my dad? He's a working man.
The family believes federal officials were tipped off about their father after he recently tried to renew his driver's license.
But he changed to this address, and they came here. So we're confident that DMV is working with Border Patrol.
Eyewitness News did reach out to the DMV. They did tell us they are preparing a statement for us, but they were unable to get it to us by airtime. As for Customs and Border Patrol, they did not respond to our inquiries about the whereabouts of Mr. Magin. Right now, all we know is that he is in Calexico. The family does tell us that he is on diabetic medication, including insulin and high blood pressure, so they do worry about his health and whether he is getting those medications while he is being detained.
All I can say is that perhaps maybe just as hard as you were working to build your business, perhaps maybe in this time frame of multiple decades, you could have worked equally as hard to gain legal citizenship. Just putting it out there, you know, it's just like the fact that you live quietly by, you know, trying to stay under the radar. I get it. But at the same time, there's a process, and you know that. And you had ample time to get this done. What happened? Should we feel sorry? Because if we were to be in another country under the same circumstances, that they would kick us out too?
So let me get this straight. Gavin Newsom is suing the Trump administration over tariffs, but he's fine with meth labs outside of preschools, open air drug markets in San Francisco, and violent crime flooding his sanctuary cities.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it that way, it just sounds absolutely, completely ridiculous, right? Meanwhile, RJ Talk says Dems are stunned to learn how much money Trump's collecting from tariffs, and this is great news. Tim Pool and Sonny Hostin looking a little bit disgruntled back there behind President Trump. Clandestine, holy shit. Trump confirms his tariff plan is going to substantially lower income taxes once this is finished. Think about that. Substantially lower income taxes, while at the same time, let's not gloss over the fact that we could be substantially lowering the cost of Medicare by making a free phone call to our partner chapter for free Medicare help and a free Medicare consultation. The number's on the screen. Dial it now, 270-467-2426. They are ready and waiting for you to call them, and they have already begun saving so many others just like you, on average $1,100. I mean, obviously, it may vary depending on the particular case and situation, but why not make a free phone call to save some money?
Futures have been pointing higher. I did it again, going the wrong way. Futures have been pointing higher all throughout the morning. Investors breathing a sigh of relief, as it's not just Besant. You're also hearing it from President Trump, him hinting at a potential U-turn on his tariffs against China, saying essentially he's going to play nice with China now. That shift getting a lot of notice, a lot of places, including on Chinese social media this morning, with the hashtag Trump chickened out trending with millions of views.
He locked down churches and small businesses, but now he's up in arms about tariffs that protect the American workers. This isn't about protecting Californians, it's about protecting China. And Newsom's chasing global approval, the kind you only get by selling out your own country to please elites.
Minnesota, California, hell, even Texas. I mean, this is happening all over the country. And we're going to pick back up where we started this video with a reply from Jules that says, I live on $980 a month before they take $185 a month out for Medicare. I've considered going back to work, but I've been out of the workforce for over 15 years. What the hell are older people supposed to do? Mary says, this is terrible, or it's terrible. They know how to invest their savings throughout life to end up with millions, but not ours. As we continue on here, Jules says, well, they get insider trading opportunities that would put any of us in prison. It's not their money they're wasting, stealing, it's ours. Tent City USA says you should qualify for possibly Medicaid or a Medicare savings program that covers your Medicare premium. You should apply for everything available. And this one here really caught my attention. Ask Grok. It tells you what you qualify for. And you know who else tells you? Our partner chapter. It's a free phone call. 270-467-2426. And they've already helped dozens of folks watching, viewing, and loyal subscribers to the channel save money on their Medicare, put money back in their Social Security checks that these folks out here are continuously trying to rip away from you, steal from you. Jules says, I do qualify for it, but because I moved from Texas, I have to wait for Oklahoma to pick it up. That takes several months. It would be helpful for a lot of people if they had a seamless process instead of having to stop one state before you can apply in another. And all I can say, folks, is call Chapter. 270-467-2426. Tell them Kevin sent you and explain to them your situation. And I promise you, this free consultation, you will have an expert on the other end of the line, and the answers to the questions that you have, you will be blown away. Okay. Now, all I ask is that after you do that, you do one of two things, or maybe both. One, share this message with anyone else who could benefit from it, who could use the help, the free consultation, the free Medicare help. And two, come back and leave a comment and let everybody else know, because this is important. This is what is either going to make or break some folks out there, seeing their Social Security, seeing their retirement just dwindle, just disappear. Okay. Right after the piece of shit asked for $2 billion more for their Medicare because they ran out of money and went over budget giving Medicare to illegal immigrants. Yeah, he's a stupid fucking idiot. Obviously here, this young lady, Gabrielle, referring to Gavin Newsom. But the last thing that, granted, I'm not on Medicare. I'm not 65 years old. I get it. I don't qualify as even not being 65 and having any ailments that would allow me the ability to be on Medicare. But I can guarantee you this, with all that's going on and the corruption and the underhandedness of the left and the Democrats, the last thing I would want to do is go into that fight without as much of a resource and partner such as Chapter to help me navigate this complex and complicated situation.
But I'll tell you what is going to bankrupt Social Security and Medicare, and that's Kamala Harris's plan to give Social Security and Medicare to illegal aliens who have no right to be here in the first place. So while Kamala Harris wants to roll out the red carpet for illegal aliens and give them Medicare and Social Security, the message of Donald J. Trump to people who are in this country illegally is simple. Pack your bags, because in 4 months you're going back home.
Yesterday, the president said this, and I quote, "We cannot give everyone a trial because to do so would take, without exaggeration, 200 years." Now, the court has said that those subject to the statute needed to be given the opportunity to challenge their removal. To me, I interpret that as a sense of due process. How do you interpret that?
I think due process was given, like the Maryland father, the MS-13 terrorist that was removed. He had due process. He was ordered removed by 2 different immigration judges. But here's what they're doing. But here's the plan. The Biden administration overwhelmed the system. 10.5 million people came to the border. They know it's going to take years to get through the court docket. By then, they're hoping there's another Democratic administration in. They'll have U.S. citizen children. Then all of a sudden, nobody wants them removed. We're spoiling their plans to have future Democratic voters and through a census, have control of the House. Through a census vote, Democratic sanctuary cities get more seats in the House. This is their plan. That's why they overwhelmed the system. That's why they didn't detain them. When they detain them, they get a hearing in 35 days. They released them. Now it's going to take 5 to 7 years. They're going to keep playing this game through the immigration courts, through appeal after appeal after appeal, district judge, to slow us down, because their hopes is they'll gain power again, then they can warrant amnesty to 10 million illegal aliens that are released in this country illegally. That is their plan, and we're trying to remove these public safety threats and national security threats as quick as possible. They're putting every roadblock imaginable in front of us to prevent us from doing that.
That is their plan. And Tom Homan, President Trump, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, you name it, JD Vance, we're all fighting to put a stop to, put an end to that plan before it's too late. I want you all to have a plan as well. So plan to call our partner chapter. Have a plan for your Medicare and, better yet, Medicare savings. It's a free call. 270-467-2426. And if you guys have any questions or comments or concerns about Social Security, retirement, Medicare, money, savings, investment, you let me know. If you like the video, please subscribe because it helps out tremendously. Share this with as many people as you know. It will help anyone and everyone. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.